What truly happens when a man falls deeply for a woman older than him? There are endless signals, subtle behaviors, and small tells, but you want to know the one undeniable giveaway? It's the way he speaks. His words, those casual, unguarded things he says without thinking, are often the clearest reflection of how he truly feels, especially when it comes to how a younger man emotionally attaches to an older woman. I'm Vernon, and in today's video, I'll share with you 5 simple yet powerful things a man often says when he truly loves a woman older than him. If you've ever felt like the days of deep connection are behind you, these words might just make you smile, or even bring a tear to your eye, because you deserve to hear them. Before we get started, make sure to subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you won't miss the next time we explore the depths of love and human connection. All right, let's begin to explore 5 phrases that reveal when a man is truly in love with a mature woman. Wisdom, the recognition of depth. It often starts casually. He might say something like, "I just really admire your wisdom," or "You always have a way of seeing things differently." At first, it sounds like a compliment, but if you listen closely, it's more than that. It's a window into how he sees you. To him, your age isn't a number, it's a presence, a calm in the storm, a depth he hasn't found with women his age. When a man uses the word wisdom, what he's really expressing is respect, trust, and a quiet longing for grounding, something he instinctively feels in your presence. He's not just attracted to your beauty, he's drawn to the way you think, the way you reflect before reacting, the way your words carry weight. And when he acknowledges that, even in passing, you can bet his heart is already invested. There's something I observed in my friend Patricia's relationship with David, a man 8 years her junior. Patricia, at 58, possessed something that David, despite his professional success, craved deeply. The kind of wisdom that comes from navigating life's complexities with grace. I'll never forget overhearing David on a phone call with his brother. The thing about Patricia is her wisdom. She sees situations from angles I never even consider. When I'm stressed about work, she doesn't just offer advice. She helps me understand why I'm really upset and what I actually need to do about it. This illustrates the profound impact of the word wisdom when it becomes central to how a man describes the older woman he loves. The ancient Greek concept of Sophia, deep wisdom gained through experience, becomes not just something he admires about you, but something he relies on, craves, and feels grateful to access. This word appears because when a man falls for an older woman, he's often recognizing that intelligence and wisdom are far more attractive than he ever realized. Dr. Saul McLeod's research on cognitive attraction shows that men who are drawn to older women often score higher on tests measuring appreciation for intellectual depth and emotional intelligence. The key insight here is that when he repeatedly uses the word wisdom to describe you, he's not just complimenting your intelligence, he's revealing that he's found something in you that makes him feel more capable, more grounded, and more confident in navigating life's challenges. First, receive the compliment fully. Don't brush it off. Second, open a deeper conversation by asking what he values most in the way people think or make decisions. Third, embrace your perspective as a strength, not something to downplay. And finally, notice how often he turns to you for insight or clarity.
It's one of the most sincere signs of emotional attachment. Have you noticed how the word wisdom changes the dynamic in your relationships? Share your thoughts below about how life experience has become one of your greatest strengths. But wisdom alone, while profoundly attractive, naturally leads to an even deeper recognition, one that touches the very core of what men seek in relationships.
Word number 2. Home. The discovery of belonging. Building on that foundation of recognized wisdom, there's a word that emerges when a man has moved beyond admiration to something much deeper: belonging. When he begins to use the word home in connection with you, not your house, but you as a person, something profound has shifted in his emotional landscape. My neighbor, Thomas, who at 52 fell deeply in love with Elena, who was 59, once described this beautifully. "When I'm with Elena," he told me, "I feel like I've come home to myself, not just physically comfortable, but emotionally and spiritually at peace. She's my home in a way I didn't know was possible." This reflects what the philosopher Martin Heidegger called dwelling. Not just occupying space, but finding authentic belonging. When a man uses home to describe being with an older woman, he's recognizing that her emotional maturity creates a sanctuary where he can be completely authentic. This happens because older women often possess what psychologists call emotional regulation mastery, the ability to create stable, nurturing emotional environments. Dr. Laura Carstenson's research on socio-emotional selectivity shows that as people age, they become more skilled at creating meaningful, emotionally satisfying relationships. The word home reveals that he's found something with you that he may never have experienced before. A relationship where he doesn't have to perform, prove himself, or maintain emotional defenses. You've become his emotional sanctuary. So how can you nurture this sense of emotional belonging once it begins to show? Pay attention to how he relaxes around you, his body language, his silences, his laughter when there's no pressure. Don't be afraid to name the feeling. Saying something like, "I feel peaceful when I'm with you too," helps strengthen that bond. Also, create simple rituals of comfort together. A shared cup of tea, a quiet walk, even just reading in the same room. These everyday moments are what turn affection into emotional safety. And most importantly, allow him to arrive as he is, not as who he thinks he should be. Because home isn't built by perfection, but by presence. Remember how we discussed wisdom as the foundation? When your wisdom creates the safety for him to feel truly at home, it sets the stage for our next crucial word:
The hunger for growth. Now we arrive at what I promised would be transformative, and it challenges every stereotype about why a man might be attracted to older women. When a man has truly fallen for an older woman, the word learn becomes central to how he describes the relationship, not learning from you, but learning with you, growing because of you, discovering parts of himself he never knew existed. I'll share something deeply personal. After Dorothy passed, I developed a relationship with Catherine, a remarkable woman who was actually 3 years older than me.
What struck me most profoundly was how often I found myself saying, "Catherine helps me learn about myself in ways I never expected." This wasn't about her teaching me facts or skills. It was about her presence inspiring me to explore aspects of my own character and potential that had remained dormant. This reflects what the ancient Greek philosopher Heraclitus meant when he said, "No man ever steps in the same river twice." When a man falls for an older woman, he often experiences what psychologists call post-formal operational thinking, the recognition that growth and learning can continue throughout life, especially when inspired by someone who embodies that principle. Dr. Erik Erikson's research on developmental psychology shows that relationships with mature partners often trigger what he calls generative learning, growth that extends beyond personal benefit to encompass wisdom that can be shared with others. Your wisdom provides the foundation, your presence creates the sense of home, and your influence sparks his hunger to learn and grow. These three elements create a powerful dynamic where he sees you not just as a romantic partner, but as a catalyst for becoming his best self. First, stay curious together. Invite conversations that go beyond the surface, ideas, values, dreams. Second, celebrate the questions more than the answers. Growth happens not in knowing everything, but in wondering together. Third, create experiences that challenge both of you. Try a new skill, travel to unfamiliar places, or simply read a thought-provoking book side by side. And finally, reflect back the growth you see in him. A simple, "I've seen you become more open lately," can ignite even deeper transformation. The profound truth is that when he uses the word learn repeatedly in connection with you, he's revealing that you've awakened something in him that goes far beyond attraction. You've inspired his own evolution. This naturally leads us to a word that expresses his recognition of the extraordinary gift he's discovered, which we'll explore right this.
Word number 4, grateful, the awakening to fortune. There's a moment in every profound relationship when a man shifts from taking love for granted to recognizing it as an extraordinary gift. When he falls for an older woman, this shift often manifests in the repeated use of one powerful word, grateful. Not just thankful for specific things you do, but grateful for your very existence in his life. This reflects what the Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius called gratitude as recognition of fortune. When a man truly falls for an older woman, he often experiences a profound awakening to how fortunate he is to be loved by someone of such depth, experience, and emotional sophistication. This gratitude emerges because relationships with older women often provide what psychologists call secure base experiences, the deep, grounding feeling of being loved by someone who doesn't need to constantly be reassured, fixed, or rescued. Instead of emotional chaos, there's calm. Instead of power games, there's partnership. Dr. John Bowlby's research on attachment shows that when someone is in a relationship with an emotionally mature partner, they often experience a kind of inner relaxation, a sense of, "I can finally exhale." This security doesn't just make love feel safe, it makes growth possible. And it often leads to a specific kind of gratitude, not just "thank you for loving me," but "thank you for making it safe to be fully myself." If you're in this kind of relationship, start to notice the subtle but powerful shifts in him. Does he breathe deeper when he's near you? Does his tone soften when he speaks to you? These aren't just signs of comfort, they're signs of emotional safety. He may not say it outright, but in your presence, his nervous system finally relaxes.
He doesn't feel the need to impress, to posture, or to hide the parts of himself that feel uncertain or unpolished. He comes back to you not just because you're exciting or beautiful, though you may be all those things, but because you feel like peace. And in a world that constantly demands men to stay strong, stoic, and in control, that peace is rare, magnetic, and healing. That's the invisible gift you're offering him. The space to just be, not to fix, not to perform, not to win, just to exist and be seen and be held emotionally. And while you may never have been taught to value this about yourself, he feels it deeply. It's why he keeps returning. It's why he stays. The word grateful reveals something beautiful. He recognizes that loving you isn't just about his feelings, but about the extraordinary privilege of being chosen by someone who has options, experience, and the wisdom to choose well. He's grateful not just for your love, but for your discernment in offering it to him. What role has gratitude played in your most meaningful relationships? Share below how appreciation has deepened your connections. The gratitude naturally evolves into our final word, one that represents the ultimate recognition of what he's found in you and his determination to honor it for the rest of his life. Let's dive.
Word number 5, forever. The commitment beyond time. When a man falls for an older woman, he often becomes more committed to permanence, not less. The word forever appears with startling frequency, not as a casual promise, but as a recognition that what he's found transcends the typical calculations about time and age. The philosopher Immanuel Levinas called the infinity of the other, the recognition that some connections transcend temporal limitations. When a man uses forever in connection with an older woman, he's often expressing that the depth of what he's found makes considerations of time seem irrelevant. Dr. Laura Carstenson's research on socio-emotional selectivity theory explains this phenomenon. When people recognize the finite nature of time, they often become more committed to relationships that offer genuine emotional fulfillment. Men who fall for older women often experience this recognition earlier than they might otherwise. The word forever also reveals something beautiful about masculine psychology. When a man finds a woman who combines wisdom, emotional stability, and genuine love, he often realizes that these qualities become more precious with time, not less. Unlike fleeting attraction that fades with novelty, this kind of connection deepens. He's not worried about aging together. He's excited about growing together. In fact, for many men, forever is not about clinging to youth, but about finding someone who makes the future feel safe, meaningful, and alive. It's not the promise of permanence that draws him in. It's the promise of shared evolution. He knows that with you, he won't be walking in circles. He'll be walking forward with someone who challenges him, steadies him, and believes in him. And that changes everything. It shifts love from a destination to a journey, one where every year adds depth, every wrinkle holds memory, and every moment becomes a thread in something quietly sacred. Think about how all 5 words connect. Your wisdom earned his respect. Your presence became his home. Your influence sparked his growth. Your love awakened his gratitude, and the totality of who you are inspired his commitment to forever. These aren't separate realizations. They're interconnected realizations that build upon each other to create profound love. As we conclude this exploration of the language of love across generations, a man falls for an older woman and begins using these 5 words: wisdom, home, learn, grateful, forever. He's expressing the opposite truth, that some love is so profound, so transformative, that forgetting becomes impossible. These words are windows into a man's soul when he's discovered something he didn't even know he was searching for. They reveal the moment when attraction transforms into reverence, when appreciation becomes gratitude, and when love becomes a commitment that transcends conventional concerns about age or time. What makes these words so powerful is their authenticity. They can't be manufactured or performed. They emerge naturally when a man recognizes that he's found something extraordinary. When you hear these words repeatedly in connection with yourself, you're witnessing a man's awakening to the profound gift of mature feminine wisdom. For the women watching this, remember that these words aren't just compliments, they're recognition of qualities that develop over decades of living, learning, and growing. Your wisdom, your ability to create emotional sanctuary, your capacity to inspire growth, and your gift for deep love aren't consolation prizes for aging. They're treasures that become more valuable with time. I'd love to hear from you in the comments below. Have you experienced relationships where these words played a significant role? Which of these words resonates most with your own experience of love? Your wisdom could help another woman recognize the profound value of her own mature gifts. If this perspective has helped you understand the unique beauty of love that crosses generational boundaries, don't forget to share it with someone who might benefit. And give it a like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell, because every week we explore stories that celebrate depth, connection, and the kind of love that grows with time. Remember, the right person will see your wisdom as treasure, your presence as home, your influence as inspiration, your love as gift, and your future together as forever.